Hey Blades fans, Camille Frick joined by Jake Maurice for a Florida Everblades post-game breakdown. Jake, tonight the Blades did lose to the Icemen 4-2, their first loss of the 3-game series. Tonight, heading into the game, what we wanted to see was them sticking to the system, sticking to what they knew worked, and not counting out the Icemen just yet because they were hungry for a win. And with that being said, the only goal that we did see displayed was at the end of the first period, and that did come from the Icemen.
Yeah, Florida was doing the right things at the start, the same kind of things they were doing on Wednesday and Friday, getting lots of chances, out-chancing, out-shooting, the Icemen controlling the puck possession battle. Late periods goals, though, they completely changed the feel of a game. There's no better time to score a goal than late in a frame, and that's what Jacksonville does at the end of the first period, and all of a sudden, all the hard work that Florida put in, it seemed a lot less worth it than if it was 0-0 like it was on Wednesday, where you just reset in a fresh period. Now Florida had to come from behind to try and get the game tied up in the second.
And what we saw in the second was the Blades, or the Icemen, putting on a lot of pressure on the Blades, not really letting them get set, but the Blades did maintain a heavy presence in their zone. We saw that period go back and forth, a goal from the Blades and a goal from the Icemen. Craig Needham extending his point streak, a dirty move in the slot off the backhand to get us a goal in that.
Yeah, it was a pretty goal, and you could feel it really brought the building back into it. Everyone got regalvanized back into it. Florida getting more pressure after that goal. They rode the momentum well, unfortunately couldn't take the lead, and then once again, Jacksonville scores in the final minute of the period and just snuffed out all that life that Florida had, and it was right back to being in Jacksonville's favor.
And I'd say in the third, we were still playing good hockey. We were out shooting them. We saw Lucas Sillinger, our new guy, fitting in nicely. Guys like Jordan Sandbrook, Reed Duke getting clear passing lanes, but the Icemen were capitalizing off our mistakes, and you can take it from there what happened.
Well, yeah, so we were looking for a power play opportunity. That's where you always feel like you can build momentum and, of course, score a tying goal. But unfortunately, early on, Craig Martin gets in alone for a shorthanded chance on a partial break, and he buries it. And from there, that really hurt. You could tell that one deflated the Everblades a lot on the bench. That even with the power play goal they got on that same man advantage, it just kept it where it was rather than bringing it back to equal. Florida tried to push the rest of the way, couldn't get anything going at 6-on-5. Jacksonville scores an empty netter, and that's it.
And with that being said, the Icemen did have 4 of their players getting multi-point games. And putting tonight aside, we will be in Greenville next week. What can we do to just forget about tonight and make sure that we can get ahead of it there?
Well, the All-Star break is certainly going to help with that. That was the main storyline you alluded to. Jacksonville's big guys showed up in this game, and they scored clutch goals in clutch moments, whereas Florida, they got some of their big guys showing up as well. Craig Needham with a goal, as you mentioned, Anthony Romano with a pair of assists tonight. So they had their guys showed up. The chances were there. They just couldn't bury them, and Jacksonville did. That was the difference. So going into the game against Greenville next week, where they're a team that also has a not as deep lineup as you, but does have some high-end talented guys, you got to be cognizant of when those guys are on the ice, particularly in late situations in the attacking zone. You don't want to allow more late goals. I'm sure finishing out, we often talk about starting out a period or a game strong. Finishing them out is just as important. Florida was not, unfortunately, able to do that tonight, and that's why the 3-game winning streak has come to an end.
Well, thank you, Jake, and thank you for tuning in to tonight's post-game breakdown, and we'll see you next time.